I wanna give a word today. I wanna say something to everybody today, and I hope it blesses you. I hope it brings you understanding that when God takes us through certain trials in our lives, and He tests us in different areas of our lives, that it makes us angry, and we have to deal with that anger. And I've been dealing with anger. I'm still mad at people from just a long time ago. I'm still mad at people. And I said, Lord, what do I do with this anger? I got to get rid of this anger, and how do I get rid of it? And how do I go back to where it started and fix it? So hopefully today this will help you better understand maybe where your anger is coming from. And you know what? Just on a side note, let me tell you something. You do not have to defend God.
That's right.
You do not have to defend God. So many times lately, I've been in positions where I've had to defend God. I was working with a cousin of mine, and the guy that was driving, we were talking about funerals because we did a funeral for my other cousin on Friday. And this guy doesn't believe in God. And he says, and I'm talking about funerals, and he says, well, when I die, just dig 6 inches in the ground, throw my body in it, light it on fire, and then just bury my ashes. I don't need a preacher. I don't need a funeral home. I don't need a casket. I don't need nothing. And I said, wait a minute. When you die, you don't get to say what happens to your body after that. Your mama's going to come in and say, I need Pastor Vic to preach your funeral, and I need this type of casket, and I want to bury you up on the hill, and I want to put a stone that says in remembrance. But when you die, you don't get an opportunity to say what's going to happen to your body. There's a bad ringing. I'm getting up here some feedback. So when I went home and God convicted me, He's like, listen, little man, don't defend me, okay? I'll do it all by myself. I don't need your help. Defend me. Okay? Book of Job, chapter 1, verse 6. Book of Job, chapter 1, verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came along with them. And the Lord said to Satan, from where do you come? So Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro on the earth, and from walking back and forth on it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job, that there is none like him on the earth, a blameless and upright man, one who fears God and shuns evil? So Satan answered the Lord and said, does Job fear God for nothing? Have you not made a hedge around him, around his household, and around all that he has on every side? You have blessed the work of his hand, and his possessions have increased in the land. But now stretch out your hand and touch all that he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. And the Lord said to Satan, behold, all that he has is in your power. Only do not lay a hand on his person. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord. Can you imagine now, when things are going good in your life and things are starting to happen and blessings are coming your way and goodness is coming your way and health and prosperity is coming your way, that God would say, hey, Satan, have you considered this one or that one? Because they love me. And then Satan, as materialistic as he is, as materialistic as Satan is, he says, you know what? If he didn't have a big screen, and if he didn't have a brand new car, and if he didn't have a big bed, and if he didn't have a big backyard, he would curse you to your face. So God says, no. You can take away all his material things, but he's still going to love me. The problem that I have with the beginning of this story is it makes me angry to think that when things are going good for me, that God would allow the enemy to come and strip me down and take away the things that he's given me, and taking away the blessing, and taking away the hedge around me, and taking his hand off me. Now makes me angry to go through my life and think I did good and then I did bad, I did good, I did bad, I was doing good and then this happened and I was doing good and then this happened and it's like, man, Lord, how could you allow that to be? 13 says, now there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the oldest brother's house, and a messenger came to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the donkeys feeding beside them, when the Sabines raided them and took them away. Indeed, they have killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the fire of God fell from heaven and burned up all the sheep and all the servants and consumed them, and I alone escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 bands, raided the camels, and took them away. Yes, and killed the servants with the edge of the sword, and I alone have escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another also came and said, your sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in the oldest brother's house, and suddenly a great wind came from across the wilderness and struck the 4 corners of the house, and it fell on the young people, and they are dead, and I alone have escaped to tell you. Can you imagine bad news coming so bad and so fast that the first one isn't even done delivering the bad news before the next one comes and brings bad news? Hello, how you doing? Where you meet? The kids are dead? Oh, hold on, I'm getting another line. What? My car's repossessed? Hold on, I'm getting a call on the other line. What? I'm getting evicted? What? My wife is gone? What? You know, it just comes so fast that they don't even get to finish telling you the first story, and each story it just gets more horrendous from the last. And it just overwhelms me, and it angers me, and it does something inside of my stomach. It does something inside of my spirit. It causes bitterness and hatred. It causes my heart to get hardened. And then Job arose, tore his robe, shaved his head, fell to the ground and worshipped. And he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked shall I return there. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this, Job did not sin nor charge God with wrong. Amen. That's the difference between me and Job. That when that happens to me, or when things begin to happen to me, the first person I blame is God. God, how could you do this to me? God, why did you make me do that? God, why would you put me in this position? God, why would you let them love me just to make them hate me? God, why would you bring them just to take them away? God, why would you do this? God, why would you make it rain on this particular day? God, why would you make it so that I didn't have any money? Or God, why would you have me get fired from my job? Because we know with just the blink of an eye, God can do whatever he wants in our lives. And I'm reading this and I'm thinking about this, and God begins to give me a revelation. He says, listen, the devil isn't after your money, your possession, your health, or even your children. The devil is after your character. He wants your character. See, when your character is wrong, people won't trust you. People won't listen to you. People won't follow you. People will not be attracted to you when your character is being damaged. So is what God and the devil's conversation that they had at the beginning of chapter 1 is that God says, wait a minute, you know, what I give to Job, he's not in love with the blessing. Job is in love with the blesser. Job is not in love with the things that I've given him. He is in love with me. So you can take away all the things that are material. You can take away all the things that he can see, hear, and touch. But you can't take away his character. That's why I said you can do whatever you want to Job. You can do whatever, but don't kill him. Because a dead man has no character. But as long as he is alive, he can keep his character intact. In other words, they can take your car, they can take your house, they can take your money, they can take your spouse, they can take your children, but they can never take away your God. Can you say amen? Amen. There was a story I heard last night about some ladies, and it's in the book of Hebrews, I believe, that they were there and they were getting ready to be slaughtered. They were ready to be murdered. They were ready to be martyred. And they said, denounce your God or we're going to kill you. And they said, I would rather die than ever denounce who my God is. And they killed him. Right? 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 They were so, their character was so intact that God said, choose her and her. Take them up to the man-at-arms there and then threaten them with their lives. Because if you threaten them with their lives, then maybe they will denounce God. The devil thinks maybe if I just take away enough things from them, they will be so mad at God that they will despise him to his face. But these ladies said, they called his bluff and said, I would rather die than denounce my God. And then they were killed. But their character was intact. That 2,000 years later, we would still be talking about these anonymous ladies who said, I would rather die than let go of my God. Because you can take my life, but you can never take my God. Amen. So he's not after your materialistic things. Your character, a true character, can only come out through tragedy. What kind of character, what kind of person, what kind of integrity you have will only be surfaced through tragedy. As long as everything is going all right, as long as you feel like everything's going okay, then you know what? Your character is well hidden. Your integrity is well hidden. Why? Because we assume you have a car, you have a house, you have a TV, you have a good relationship, you have a bank account. We see all those things and we automatically assume that you must have good character if God is blessing you. But that is where we go wrong. Some of the poorest people around have the best character. Some of the poorest people around have the best character because they've learned how to live like Job. They've learned how to live in that tragedy. They've learned how to live in disappointment. They've learned how to live in things not going their way. But that's not where their heart is. Their heart is not in cars. Their heart is not in houses. Their heart is not here on earth. Their heart is in heaven. And they're just waiting for their time. They're waiting for God to call. And until God calls, their character remains intact. It's not about what you're going through. It's about how you handle what you're going through. It's about how you handle what you're going through. I want us to keep our character intact as we go through the things that are disappointing in life. Life is so disappointing, but it's only because we have put our eyes and our focus on materialistic things. We have put our focus, we've taken our children and we wanted to give our children everything that we didn't have and everything we never had and everything we never will have. We want to give our children everything, and we don't make them work for it. We don't make them do any of this for it, and then we never teach them true character. They need to be able to own up. They need to be able to face it like a man. They need to be able to understand and have respect and have integrity. But it's not about what you're going through. It's about how you go through it. Because the world is watching. The world is watching how you act and how you talk and how you go through things and how you handle it. And is what I want you to understand is that when the enemy becomes to strip you of these things, and the enemy seems to be able to have free will of coming in and messing with you and coming out and coming in and messing with you and coming out, that he just has this free reign. He's just taking things away that are temporary anyway. The devil never comes in and takes away something that's permanent. The devil never comes in and takes away something that's permanent. If the devil can come in and take something out of your life to cause you to despise your God, it was never permanent. So if it was never permanent, then it was just a matter of time before that thing left you anyway, before that thing disappeared anyway, before that thing became obsolete anyway, before that thing just doesn't matter anyway. So the devil comes in and he takes out all the temporary and leaves you with only permanent. There's a saying that says, a wise man can be by himself and be be in good company. That when the enemy strips you of all that you have, and it's just you, are you in good company? Are you a woe is me? Why me? Why this? Have you ever, I mean, it's just such backwards thinking, right? It's just